Hello, friends. Welcome back to English Classes Online. My name is Benjamin. Today's video is on what are prepositional phrases and how can you use them correctly. That is the focus of today's video. If you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Click on the bell icon as well so that whenever a new video goes live on this channel, you will receive instant notification. Without much ado, let's dive into the lesson. We are starting with this important question: what are prepositional phrases? Now, structurally, prepositional phrases a prepositional phrase is made up of a preposition and its object. All right. So we are going to look at this. All right. Structurally, a prepositional phrase is made up of a preposition and its object, which can be a noun, a pronoun, or a noun phrase. For example, the word on the table, to her, by Shoyinka, under the bed with an umbrella at 7 o'clock etc. So you can see them here on the table. To her, by Shoyinka, under the bed with an umbrella and at 7 o'clock. All right, so if we look at the structures of these prepositional phrases, we discover that it is made up of a preposition and a noun. All right, then we also have a combination of a preposition and a pronoun. And finally, we have the combination of a preposition and a noun phrase. So now let's look at this, beginning with a preposition and a noun. Look at the phrase by Shoyinka. The word by is a preposition and Shoyinka is a noun. So that's the first structure we look at here, a preposition and a noun. All right. So that's this. Okay, so let me actually get, that's this one by Shoyinka. Then a preposition and a pronoun is to her. The word to is a preposition and her is a pronoun. So a preposition and a pronoun will form a prepositional phrase. And the last structure is P plus NP, which is a preposition and a noun phrase. An example is on the table. On is a preposition. The table is a noun phrase. The second example is under the bed. The word under is a preposition. The bed is a noun phrase. The third example is with an umbrella. The word with is a preposition. An umbrella is a noun phrase. And the last one is at 7 o'clock. The word at is a preposition. 7 o'clock is a noun phrase. So we have seen the structure of the noun phrase, and we have already identified the combinations. All right, that's the structure. It's made up of a preposition and its object, and the object of the preposition can be a noun, a pronoun, or a noun phrase. Now, functionally, a prepositional phrase can be used either as an adjectival phrase, or as an adverbial phrase. We shall be looking at all these when we when we examine the various functions, all right, or the uses of the prepositional phrase. Okay, let's get to the next uses of prepositional phrases. Now, when it is used as an adjective phrase, the prepositional phrase, when it is used as an adjective phrase, the prepositional phrase performs the function of a modifier. So you take note of this. Modifier of a noun with the structure of a noun phrase. All right, so you will find the prepositional phrase, you know, when it is used as an adjective phrase, then you find it embedded within a noun phrase. All right. When it is used as an adverbial phrase, it can occupy any of the adverbial positions such as adjunct, disjunct, or conjunct, and it can do the job of modifying a verb or an adjective. Now, the following are its functions in sentences. We are now going to look at the functions of prepositional phrases in sentences, but you need to understand at this juncture that it can be used as an adverbial phrase, as an adjective phrase, or it can be used as an adverbial phrase. All right, so these are the key functions. But let's now erase these marks as we go to the next screen. Now, let's look at the uses of the prepositional phrases. The first use of the prepositional phrase is as a noun phrase modifier. And in this case, it is functioning as an adjectival phrase. For example, the men of this village often beat their wives. Now, you can see the noun phrase, the men of this village. And then the prepositional phrase is of this village. Now, how do we know it is functioning as an adjective phrase here? It is functioning as an adjective phrase because it is telling us more about a noun, which is the man. How do we know? We use the border principle and the questioning method. And here we say the man, and we put full stop. Now, the question that naturally arises is which man? All right, which man? And that is the function of an adjective. It identifies which type of thing or person or people you are talking about. So when you say the man and you put a full stop, somebody will ask you, which man are you talking about? And so of this village, you know, answers that question, which man? The men we are talking about are the men of this village. All right? They are not men from the moon. And when you say from the moon, that's another prepositional phrase functioning as an adjective phrase. All right? They are not men of the city, they are men of this village. So whether we talk of this village, from the moon, or of the city, we are using a prepositional phrase. And each prepositional phrase is telling us more about the man, which is what exactly makes it an adjectival phrase. Now, the second example is the girl with an umbrella is Balogun's daughter. And so the prepositional phrase here is with an umbrella. And it is functioning, or it is used as an adjective phrase here because it is telling us more about the girl. Again, using the border principle and the questioning method, if we say the girl and we put a full stop, then the question that naturally arises is which girl? And then with an umbrella answers the question, which girl are you really talking about? I am talking about the girl with an umbrella. So with an umbrella identifies the girl we are talking about, describes the girl we are talking about, and that is what makes it an adjective phrase. So now we have seen one of the uses of a prepositional phrase is as an adjective phrase. And being used as an adjective phrase, it is performing the function of a noun phrase modifier. Because here you can see that, you know, the word the men of the city is a prepositional phrase. And within this prepositional phrase, then we find within this noun phrase, the men of the city is a noun phrase. And within this noun phrase, we have this prepositional phrase modifying the head word, the men. All right? And that makes it a noun phrase modifier, functioning as an adjective phrase and specifically being used as a noun phrase modifier. I hope that is clear. The same thing applies to the second example. Now let's look at the second use of the prepositional phrase is as a verb complement. A verb complement, all right? A verb complement is a group of words that completes the meaning of a verb. Now let's look at this. Give the letter to the manager. Give the letter to the manager. The verb here is give. And so when we say give the letter to the manager, all right, so in this case, we are looking at the noun phrase that really completes the meaning of the verb. All right, and here I think it will be more appropriate to look at the fact that it is actually when we say to the manager, all right, give the letter to the manager. So to the manager is actually completing, it is adding more meaning to the verb. And so when we look at the verb give, it is a transitive verb, which is a verb that is used with an object. And here we have a direct object and we have an indirect object. Give the letter. The letter is the direct object here. The manager is the indirect object. But here you discover that because we are using a preposition, then we are making this indirect object to be embedded within the prepositional phrase. But all in all, it is completing the meaning of the verb. If we remove the preposition, we can bring the manager directly near the verb give. We can say give the manager the letter. Give the manager the letter, all right? But instead of using that structure, we reconstructed it and we have introduced a preposition, thereby making this a prepositional phrase. Yet it is functioning in direct relation to the verb. It is a verb complement. All right? And because if we say give the letter, then the meaning is still incomplete. Give the letter. And somebody will ask you the question, to whom? All right? Give the letter. What do you mean by give the letter? Give the letter to whom? The meaning is not complete. This action is still looking for something to complete it. When you say give the letter, something is still missing. To the manager, completes the meaning so that the person who is receiving this instruction will know exactly what to do. You cannot simply tell someone give the letter without specifying to whom the letter will be given. So this is what makes this prepositional phrase, you know, a complement of the verb, all right? And the only thing that can complement the verb is obviously an adverbial phrase, all right? So here, we look at the second example, I totally believe in God. Now, the prepositional phrase here is in God. Again, you see it as a complement of the verb believe. I believe in God. The verb here is believe. And how do we know it is a complement of the verb? Because it completes the meaning of the verb. If we simply say, I totally believe, somebody will want to know, believe in what? All right? The meaning is still, begging for a complement. So, in God is a prepositional phrase and it is functioning as a verb complement. It completes the meaning of believe in this sentence. Now let's look at the next use of a prepositional phrase, which is see. It is used as an adjective complement. In this case, it completes the meaning of an adjective. Let's take the first example. Example I here is the old woman was worried about her sick son. The prepositional phrase is about her sick son. That's the prepositional phrase here. And the adjective is worried. Worried. That's the adjective. And so about her sick son is the prepositional phrase, and it is used as an adjective complement. It completes the meaning of the adjective. Now, how do we know? Again, we can use the border principle and the questioning method. So we put a border here, and then we take this sentence and we stop at this point, and we say the woman was worried. When you say the woman was worried, someone will naturally ask, worried about what? So that is why about her sick son completes the meaning of the adjective worried. If you say someone is worried, then the listener will want to know what he's worried about. And so about her sick son is an adjective complement. And by the way, about her sick son is a prepositional phrase. All right? And here it is functioning as an adverbial phrase because it completes the meaning of an adjective. Now, an adverb is a word that modifies a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. And so is an adverbial phrase. It modifies a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. So here it modifies an adjective. Worried is a past participle functioning as an adjective in this sentence. And then about her sick son is a prepositional phrase doing the job of an adverbial phrase in the sense that it is describing, it is adding extra information to the adjective worried. Let's look at the second example. Doris is busy with her assignment. Now, with her assignment is the prepositional phrase here. The adjective here is busy. Again, we can see this prepositional phrase doing the work of an adjective complement. It completes the meaning of the adjective busy. How do we know? We use the border principle and the questioning methods. And so when we say Doris is busy and we put a full stop there, the question that arises is busy with what? You know, she is busy with her assignment. So with her assignment is giving additional information about the adjective busy. All right. So if you are busy, there must be something that has kept you busy. And so this prepositional phrase is used to complete the information. And that is why it is called an adjective complement here. Now, the next use of the prepositional phrase is as an adjunct. An adjunct is an adverbial. All right. Example I is we always sing at the assembly. The prepositional phrase here is at the assembly. And by the way, it is an adjunct of place. Now, what an adjunct means is that it is an adverbial. Obviously, it gives additional information about a verb. All right. So now, how do we explain this? Again, we use the border principle and the questioning method. And so when we come here and we say, we always sing, and then we put a full stop, there are several questions that can arise. When do we sing? Where do we sing? How do we sing? Why do we sing? How do we sing? All these questions can be answered by adjuncts. So here it can be answered by an adjunct, which is a single word adjunct, or it can be answered by an adjunct, which is a prepositional phrase, all right, as we find it here. Now, we always sing at the assembly. This is telling us the place where we sing, all right? Now, the dog ran into the house. Into the house is the adjunct. And again, using the border principle and the questioning method, if we say the dog ran, then someone we want to know where did the dog run to, all right? Into the house. So let's now erase these marks so that we won't be confused when we get to the next page, where we are going to look at the remaining uses of the prepositional phrase. Now, the next use of the prepositional phrase is as a conjunct. A conjunct is also a type of adverbial. All right? For example, on the contrary, women are very compassionate. On the contrary is a conjunct, although here it is more like a disjunct than as a conjunct. But let's look at this. On the contrary, women are very compassionate. Then the next is, in view of this, we shall meet immediately to discuss the next line of action. All right, so the next use of the prepositional phrase is as a disjunct. And so here we have, in all seriousness, we must hear from both parties before taking any action. In all seriousness, that's a disjunct here. Against all expectations, that's another disjunct. Chelsea lost to Man U. Against all expectations. So that is another disjunct. All right, so this is where we are going to really draw the curtain in today's video. But before we really bring it to an end, let's look at an exercise. Let's do some exercises. All right. Okay, write out the following sentences, underline the adverbial phrase in each sentence, and state its function in the sentence. For example, we always sing at the assembly. Answer: A, at the assembly is the prepositional phrase, and then B modifies the verb sing. So you can see the function stated here. It's a verb modifier. It modifies the verb sing. All right. Then let's look at the exercise. Question 1. The director left the boardroom in anger. What is the prepositional phrase? In anger is the prepositional phrase. Now, what is its function? It modifies the verb left. How do we know? It provides answer directly to a question about the verb. Again, using the border principle, we can come here and we say the director left. There are two questions that will arise. Where did he go to? Or from where did he leave? He left the boardroom. How did he leave? In anger. All right. So this is an adverb of manner. It tells us the manner in which the director left. So first, the adverbial, the prepositional phrase here is in anger. What is its use here? What is its function? It is used as a modifier. It modifies the verb left. All right. Question 2, it rained very heavily last night. It rained very heavily last night. All right. We have different prepositional. We don't have a clear prepositional phrase here. Well, last night could have been it. All right. But this actually, we have two adverbial phrases here. And so when we say it rained, the question is, how did it rain? When did it rain? How did it rain very heavily? When did it rain last night? All right. All right. So number 3, the arrogant man was beaten black and blue. The arrogant man was beaten black and blue. Again, you discover that prepositional phrase is not glaring here. So we may not identify a prepositional phrase because we are asked to identify a prepositional phrase. But here we don't have a prepositional phrase, although we have an adverbial phrase. The arrogant man was beaten. How? Black and blue. The next one, the car was very seriously damaged. Again, no prepositional phrase, but very seriously is an adverbial phrase that is telling us more about damaged. The rat ran into the hole. Here we have a clear prepositional phrase, and it is into the hole. Now, what is its function? It is functioning as an adverbial phrase, and it modifies the verb ran. How do we know? We use the border principle and the questioning method. And when we say the rat ran, then we need something to complete its meaning. Where did the rat run into? Into the hole. So into the hole is telling us more about the action of the rat, which is the verb ran. Question 6, the train leaves at 7 a.m. We have a clear prepositional phrase at 7 a.m. And then what is its function? It modifies the verb leaves. How do we know? Using the border principle and the questioning method, if we say the train leaves, different questions will arise. When will the train leave? At 7 a.m. So at 7 a.m. is a prepositional phrase, but here it is functioning as an adverbial phrase, modifying the verb leaves. Question number 7, they live in the same street. The prepositional phrase here is in the same street. What is its function? It modifies the verb live. How do we know? Using the border principle and the questioning method. If we say they live, many questions will arise, one of which is, where do they live? The answer is in the same street. So in the same street is providing us an additional information about the verb live. So it modifies the verb live. Question number 8, that carton should be handled with care. The prepositional phrase here is with care. With care. Then what is its function? Now it modifies the verb handled. All right. And how do we know? Using the border principle and the questioning method. And when we say that carton should be handled, then some questions will arise. How should it be handled? How do you want it to be handled? With care. It should be handled with care. So with care becomes an adverb of manner. It's an adverbial phrase of manner because it is telling us how the carton should be handled. It modifies the verb handled. Question number 9. Jack shouted very loudly at Judith. The prepositional phrase here is at Judith. All right? And if we ask what exactly is the function of this prepositional phrase, then of course we can say that it is modifying the verb shouted. Obviously, we can even remove this for us to see how directly this is complementing the verb or giving extra information about the verb shouted. So again, if we use the border principle and the questioning method, if we say Jack shouted, a number of questions will arise. You know, how did Jack shout? Very loudly. So it's an adverbial phrase. All right. At whom did Jack shout? At Judith. So you can see again, it is an adverbial phrase because it's telling us more about the action, which is shouted, a verb. Then the last question, question number 10, I will visit the Baloguns this evening. Here we don't have a prepositional phrase, but we have a noun phrase that is functioning as an adverb. How do we know? If we say I will visit, then someone will ask, when are you going to visit? All right, so it is all about the verb visit. When is the visit taking place? this evening. All right. So this brings us to the end of today's video. We have actually been looking at the prepositional phrases. What are prepositional phrases and how can you use them correctly? We have done justice to this question, and that's exactly the way it is. We have actually looked at this very important question. What are prepositional phrases and how can you use them correctly? We have looked at this and I hope you enjoyed today's video. If actually you did, make sure you share the video and like the video and share the video with your friends and relations. And if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, kindly subscribe to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Click on the bell icon as well so that when a new video is uploaded on the channel, you will be instantly notified. I want to say a big thank you to all of you for being part of today's video. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye for now and remain blessed.